I'm Mark.
I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV, episode number 196. First, the cat is out of the ceiling.
Woo!
It has gone to a good home, the home of a customer. The long nightmare is over. We did name the cat.
We can begin rebuilding.
Name the cat Nimoy in honor of Leonard Nimoy. There was a huge lobby from our Facebook fans to make it a store cat, but we have too much paper here, so that was not an option. Thankfully,
and motion detectors.
Yes, Nimoy did. Yeah, if you think about breaking in, we got motion detectors, so you're busted. So the cat is gone. All right, now on to comics. Lots of new stuff this week. Lots of number ones. Lots of number ones. Let me emphasize that. My pick of the week is all new Hawkeye, number 1, written by Jeff Lemire, artwork by Ramon Perez. And I was skeptical. Not skeptical. You have to admire someone who would follow the critically acclaimed team of Matt Fraction and David Aja.
Not technically following it since theirs isn't over yet.
Yes, we still have at least, was it one
issue left.
issue. Issue 22, I think, is the last issue. And there is a little blurb in the back of this issue about that. But I kudos to Jeff Lemire and Ramon Perez for picking up the mantle of Hawkeye. I will tell you 3 things about this book. It was better than I expected it to be, significantly. The artwork by Ramon Perez is jaw-droppingly awesome. That's what I said on Twitter, actually. Jaw-droppingly awesome.
What would I know Perez from? What's he
Tale
done?
of Sand.
Oh.
And he did some other stuff. I think he did an all-new X-Men arc. But Tale of Sand is probably what he's known for. But he does an amazing job of incorporating flashback sequences and stuff that's happening in the present day. The flashbacks are amazing. Amazing! Like, I want the original art for these flashback scenes. They're so cool. What is the third thing? There are actually 4 things. The third thing is this takes place present day story, but we have flashbacks to Clint and Barney as children in one of the foster homes that they're in, and they end up running away from this foster home. And one of the last pages, is that spoiling it? That's not spoiling it, right? Most people know that they come across the circus where both of them acquired their skills, their archery skills. So that's what it's about. The 4th thing is read the stuff in the back. Each creator has a paragraph where they talk about how they got involved with this project. And Jeff Lemire's made me laugh. Ramon Perez made me think that we're kindred spirits, because he mentions how one of his friends took him to a drugstore or someplace where he saw a spinner rack, and that's what got him into comics. And 2 of the comics that were on the spinner rack at the time were West Coast Avengers and Solo Avengers, both books that came out in the 80s, both books featuring Hawkeye. So it's really cool that he's getting an opportunity to draw this character that obviously meant something to him as a kid. So, all new Hawkeye, number 1, far and away my pick of the week this week.
Also new from Marvel, I think is almost everything we're talking about in number 1 this week.
Pretty much.
We've got Guardians Team Up number 1, written by Brian Michael Bendis, who you may remember from everything Marvel publishes, including Guardians of the Galaxy, the regular title, and art by Art Adams, more or less. But this is a kind of, just like the title says, Marvel Team Up, Guardians Team Up, what's the word I want? Anthology series where every couple issues we may get a new creative team or a new story, and we'll get team-ups between various people and the Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of like Spider-Man was in the old Marvel team-up back in the day. And this one is the Guardians and the Avengers, and I really liked the structure of the story. Like, it was... I don't know, for some reason it really felt like it was tied into the movie universe, even though it's clearly the comic stuff. The Chitauri are kind of the main antagonist in the beginning of the story, and it was interesting. It got the Avengers and the Guardians together. There was great interplay between them, and yeah, it was cool. And there are too many Avengers, for one thing.
There are.
This is kind
Not
of
everybody needs to be an Avenger.
Right, this is the Avengers World Hickman team with, Hyperion and Sunspot and Cannonball and those guys on it. And it was just fun. I mean, if you like Guardians of the Galaxy written by Brian Michael Bendis, this month you can get it again in Guardians Team Up. So check it out.
With 37 characters in it.
Bunches of
Avengers,
people.
Guardians, people you saw in the Guardians movie, all kinds of stuff. All right, the 800-pound gorilla this week. This sounds bad. She's not a gorilla. She's not 800 pounds. Star Wars Princess Leia, #1 from Marvel Comics, written by Mark Waid, art by Terry Dodson. Really enjoyed this. Again, the previous Star Wars books, both Star Wars and Darth Vader, were both very strong. I think this is just as strong. Basically, it picks up right after the medal ceremony of Episode 4. And what does Leia do? She is a woman without a planet. All of her
she's not just a woman, she's a princess without a planet.
She's a princess without a planet, woman without a planet. She ends up teaming up with another Alderaan survivor or orphan, I should say, who happens to be a rebel pilot, and she decides that her mission in life now is to travel the galaxy looking for other orphans of Alderaan, because the Empire has put a bounty out there on any survivor, anyone that was not on the ill-fated planet when the Death Star blew it all to bits. Dodson's artwork is perfectly suited for this because he draws the pretty ladies. Mark Waid, incredibly talented writer. If you're a Star Wars fan, if you're reading the other 2 books, this one is a no-brainer, folks. And this one is a miniseries. This is a 5-issue miniseries, whereas Darth Vader and Star Wars are both ongoing series.
So chronologically, these are actually before Star Wars and Vader.
Right. I mean, because this is literally...
like the moment after. Yeah.
And when the credits roll...
When you're like, why didn't Chewie get a medal?
That's when this stuff happens. Yes, yes. So, yeah. But chronologically, because I know some people are concerned about that, this takes place before the other 2 Star Wars series that are going on right now. Pick it up.
Super great. It turns out when you get A-list talent and put them together, you get good books. It's just crazy. I don't know why we have this problem. Next up, a new #1 from Image. Image. Too many new #1s this week. We've got Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen doing Descender. And I am loath to explain to you about this book. Basically, you've got a point at some point in the future, or an alternate timeline possibly, and people are spaceborne. We've got incredibly advanced robotics and technology, and this is the story of a kid who wakes up in a mining colony, some sort of space thing, and is all alone. Everyone else is gone or dead, and it's what happened. And it's very interesting. We get some pieces set in the past of the years before these events, and then the events themselves. And it's very cool. It's very... I'm trying to think of an analog in movies, because it's very much a kind of a quiet solo piece about this lost kid, essentially.
The closest analogy is AI.
Sure.
Spielberg's AI with Haley Joel Osment as the robot boy. But I think you've got elements of Bicentennial Man and Blade Runner and iRobot.
Okay, so we're just going to say that the kid's a robot.
Surprise! Spoiler warning.
Was that obvious in the book? I thought that was like a reveal.
Obvious, especially I don't know. So it's definitely hardcore science fiction. AI, iRobot. What other book? Oh, Bicentennial Man and Blade Runner. You put them in a blender you put them in the Bass-O-Matic with a bass, and you get Descender.
Mixed with Home Alone, Lost in New York.
Yes, Macaulay Culkin. Throw in a little bit of Macaulay Culkin. Also written by Jeff Lemire, who knocked out of the park with all new Hawkeye #1 this week. Yeah,
and Dustin Nguyen's art is really well suited. Actually, when I first started reading it, I didn't immediately realize that it wasn't drawn by Jeff Lemire, because he has a similar sort of loose style that's very evocative. And yeah, just a lot of fun, a great hard sci-fi choice.
#1. Actually, it's a one-shot.
With a bullet.
This is a one-shot, so maybe it counts, maybe it doesn't. So you take 2 kind of contemporary horror books, both published by Image Comics. You get Nailbiter, /, the one-shot. And this is actually a flip book, kind of, sort of, whereas the front half is written by the regular, or done by the regular creative team, Nailbiter of Josh Williamson and Mike Henderson, and then the other side is the regular creative team on /, which is Tim Seeley and Emilio Laso. What you want to do is read the Nailbiter one first. I don't know if you noticed that, or if
yeah, chronologically that one happens
first.
That's
actually how
that's
I read
the one with the barcode on it. That's how I'm distinguishing them, or the titles in different orders. Yeah, okay, so you want to read Nailbiter hack slash
read
before
Nailbiter,
you read hack slash Nailbiter.
Before you read, yes, hack slash Nailbiter. And it's two separate stories that are complementary to each other. Everything's over by the end of this one shot, but I think it does leave the door open to possibly see Cassie Hack show up in the world of Nailbiter and vice versa. I enjoy both of these books on their own, so it was really cool to see them together. And I love that they had... I actually like the approach that they took, that you had the regular creative teams doing their own thing, and not bringing in somebody else to tell the story. Because they're creator-owned properties, I think it's really important to have the creators involved at every level of this. So if you're reading one or the other or both, you don't want to miss this one shot that came out.
Yeah, and I would say especially, and it could be just because Nailbiter's a more recent book, you know, there's only a dozen issues out. I mean, this is important backstory to one of the main characters in Nailbiter from my point of view. I was surprised how much meat we got.
Yeah, there's substance to this. It's not just a cash grab, not just a let's throw a one shot out like we did in the 90s. There's actually substance to this, so don't miss it.
All right. And also, next up, we've got Big Man Plans, written by Eric Powell with art by Tim Weish?
No, art by Eric Powell. That's got to be inks or something.
It could be inks.
Or co-written by whoever that other person is. Tim
yeah,
Conway?
We don't have credits. Yes, Tim Conway. It's actually a spin-off of the... yeah, there's not a...
Thanks for
credits
tuning
page
in, for staying with
here.
us.
Oh, there we go. Written by... okay, so he's co-writing art by Eric Powell.
That's all you need to know, art by Eric Powell.
It's true, art by Eric Powell, who is best known, of course, for his work on The Goon, although he did some awesome runs on Godzilla and Superman with Jeff Johns and the movie guy...
Richard Donner? Was he part of that? That was the Bizarro storyline?
Wasn't that? Yeah, it was Richard Donner, wasn't it?
I don't know if Donner was on board.
It was in the same timeline. It was within a few months there.
I don't know if Donner was at that party.
The Donner party? Table of one. So this is the story of a little person whose life is... basically, it's the story of midget Forrest Gump. He has a rough life. Things don't go well for him. He has adventures all over the place. And it's...
It's midget Forrest Gump if the main character was Lieutenant Dan. It's not...
It doesn't go well for him. He doesn't have the life that's like a box of chocolates. He has the... I'm sad about not having my legs, and I want to drown myself.
He has legs, just little legs.
Oh, he has short legs. But he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and it's... I hesitate actually to say it was enjoyable, because it's very dark. But I thought it was interesting, and I definitely empathized with the character. And although... I mean, obviously he has unique challenges. You see a lot of the stuff that you know, a lot of people coming back from Vietnam had, getting reacclimated in, you know, to go from being constantly under threat of death from the bushes around you to walking down the street in a city. It's a different world, and I thought that was really well shown in here. It is funny like The Goon, but it is definitely darker, and it's a black comedy, and so I liked it. If you like Eric Powell's work, it's a no-brainer to check it out.
It is not Chimichanga, though.
It is not Chimichanga. It is not all ages. It is not even some ages.
This is like NC-17.
Yeah.
Fair warning. But it was good.
Yeah.
It's Eric Powell, of course. I'm going to check it out. Finally, for me, public service announcement time, we get Birthright Volume 1, written by Joshua Williamson, artwork by Andre Bresson. $9.99. Image Comics, $9.99, Volume 1. You may recall, we've talked about Birthright in the past. This is the story of a family that is ripped apart when their youngest child is abducted, goes missing in the park, and suddenly shows up maybe a year or two later, changed. And I can't say, I don't know, how much can I say?
Well, we've talked about it repeatedly in the past.
It's been out for like 5 or 6 months, the story has. So it turns out the kid was... abducted into another world, which is a fantasy type world, and we're getting glimpses into his life being raised in that environment, and he's being raised as the Anakin Skywalker of that world, the chosen one. He comes back to our universe, our world, a couple of years later as a fully grown man with the Conan beard, with the big beard and a sword and.
With the big beard and the sword.
So this is fantasy meets
Lifetime original movie.
Yes, fantasy meets a Lifetime original movie. So this is for everybody. Really, really enjoyed it. from the beginning. And now, if you haven't been reading it, you can check out the first volume for just $9.99. And I think that there are lots of praises written in here somewhere. Maybe I read that in an ad in one of the other Image books. But lots of people like it, including us, and you should read it.
Last up this week, from Jimmy Palmiotti and over at Boom Studios. That is just too many credits. Created and written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Matt Brady. Illustrated by Dominic Domo Stanton. I hope to be Domo Stanton someday. This is The Big Con Job, and this is the story of, it's basically Ocean's 11 meets Galaxy Quest. A bunch of aging people who make the majority of their living, which isn't a great living, as personalities at conventions, get to decide to pull off a big score and rob San Diego Comic-Con. And that is it. That is the pitch.
What is not to love?
If that sounds interesting to you, you should buy it. We get preview issues of these books occasionally. This is one I read a few weeks ago, and I really liked it. I thought it was fun and evocative. And now when I reread it before the show, it actually made me a little sad, because I thought of Leonard Nimoy having this kind of con life, and I didn't enjoy it as much. But no, it's very cool. The personalities are very identifiable. You know, the archetypes you're seeing. You've seen people like this at cons. Most of them aren't direct adaptations. I mean, there's no like Shatner analog, but they're all broad types of people you've seen at conventions if you go the convention route. And I think Palmiotti does a really good job of making them all human and well motivated. It is, and I keep saying this, but it is a little on the dark side. It's not a light, fun heist romp. There is a lot of humor to it, both situationally and actually dialogue-wise, but it definitely has some teeth. These people's lives are not especially good. But yeah, The Big Con Job. Jimmy Palmiotti is always a fun and inventive writer, and this time he's got something worth checking out.
He's writing this from personal experiences.
Yes.
People who won't be named. All right. Well, before we go, Josh wants to fill you in on our March Madness bracket for this year.
Okay.
Take it away.
All right. So March Madness. We paired up the best books of last year. We put together a list with the staff here with some suggestions from the internet, both on our Facebook page and the comments. Although I don't think anybody actually commented about it in the video, but that's okay. And then we've ranked them with a, what's the word I want, where you have the numbers?
Seed.
Seed, yes. So we've seeded them based on the sales of the book. So I don't know if you want to, we're going to take the position and talk these out, or you just
I don't have enough time to do that.
All right, fine. Well, almost every book on here we've talked about more than once, so it shouldn't be any big surprises. So we'll give you the rundowns this week. Basically, voting is live in the store now. It'll be live soon on Facebook, and if you're watching this video, you can, of course, comment below the video and give us your votes for each pairing. And
we will get the pairings in the notes of the YouTube video so that you know what we're talking about.
Right, oh yeah, absolutely. So, first up, the number 1 seed, we've got Saga versus the number 16 seed, Alex and Ada. That's going to be a slaughterfest. But it's okay. Alex and Ada is a great book. It deserves recognition, but it's not going to stand up to Saga. We're going to make our predictions. This is like a football game thing. Would you like, wait, you want to pick your winner?
This is like the sports.
Who's the winner of the bracket? 4 weeks from now, who are we going to be saying won?
Saga.
Yeah, it's going to be Saga.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
I don't know. I think Sex Criminals has a chance. But anyway, also in the Northwest bracket, we've got Injustice, Gods Among Us versus All New X-Men. This is actually a pretty fair bout. We've got them seated 9 and 8 respectively, and they're both well-regarded books, but they sell roughly equally in the store, so that's going to be a tussle. Next up, number 4 seed, Justice League takes on Thor, God of Thunder. Now, because of the rules of our tournament this year, you have to have put out at least enough issues to fill a graphic novel, which means the new Thor series, Female Thor, is not eligible. So this is Aaron's previous Thor series, which ran for most of last year, and was also awesome, and we loved. Going up against Jeff John's perennial favorite, Justice League. And Justice League will probably take that. I'd love to see Thor win, but Justice League is a awesome book too. So. No, next up, number 12 seed.
Are you flipping off the
I'm doing heroin or something. I don't know what this is. I need
the smack.
I need some All New X-Men in my veins. Number 12 seed, Nailbiter takes on The Walking Dead, the number 5 seed.
That is going to be a slaughter.
It is going to be a slaughter, although I think Nailbiter stood a better chance than anybody else here who wasn't, you know, Saga or Amazing Spider-Man. Who's up next? Over in the Northeast bracket, we've got Amazing Spider-Man, the number 2 seed, versus Miss Marvel,
no
number 15.
teams from the South in this bracket. It's Northeast and Northwest.
This is the Northeast, this is the Southwest, but I didn't say.
That's right.
I didn't say the
I like
bracket
Southwest.
size. I love their sauce. It's got corn in there usually and black beans.
They have one plane.
Yes.
Amazing Spider-Man versus Ms. Marvel.
Again, this broke my heart putting the bracket together because I wanted to try and skew the numbers, but there's no way. All of these are good books, and the vast majority of them are books I love. So I'm going to watch my children get murdered. It's going to be great. Daredevil, number 10 seed, takes on Sex Criminals, seated at number 7. That's actually a fairly fair fight. I think Sex Criminals will take him in the long run, but he does have a TV show coming out soon, so who knows? Well,
it's not until
a
April,
Netflix
so,
show. Yeah, it won't affect this maybe. In the Southeast bracket, yes, we've got Batman, the number 3 seed, going up against Wicked and Divine, number 14. Now, Batman,
blowout.
Yes, Batman came in second last year, lost to, or 2 years ago last time we did this, and it lost to Saga by 1 vote. So yes,
every vote
is
counts.
Likely to matter heavily. And the final pairing, we've got Batman Eternal 11 versus Marvel's big event from last year, Original Sin, in the number 6 seed. So we've got a lot of great pairings here. We'll be back in a week to give you the new breakdowns to show you what your votes and the votes of the other people across the country said. And in a month's time, we will crown the greatest book of 2014.
So we need your help. Participate on the YouTube, on Facebook.
Come into the physical store and
send
do
us
it
a
if you
letter.
want.
Yes.
Letters will not help.
If you're local, come in. We have a sheet at the register where we're keeping hash marks. So curious to see what happens. March Madness, it's on at Alter Ego Comics. Thanks for watching. See you next time.